In the Athlone Palrimantery. Minister, we also very want to welcome you here in our midst. We have amongst ourselves our volunteers, like our head reported, there's 150 volunteers in the field, and we cover about 45 voting districts, and with all our challenges, all of them are open, and we have some form of presence there. Today's voter registration, and so that's our primary objective. Yes, we have our Minister of International Relations with us, but she's also a deployee of the African National Congress and National Executive Committee member. She's coming from the field. She's also going into the field, into our areas. And today we want to encourage people, young people especially, to come out in their numbers and register to vote. Minister, we also got young people from this area. I've asked some of our clergy, respected elders, our brothers here, Sheikh and Nolana, to also bring, because I also wanted you to interact with some of our constituencies, and hopefully if you have a little bit of time, maybe register one or two of our young people. We can do it online, and so I think that's a key thing. So we also want to get a word of encouragement and to also inspire young people that your generation has fought for our freedom. Your generation has made all these sacrifices, and it's also important for our young people that sitting here, that you are South Africans. You must claim your space, claim your agency, and it's important that you vote, you protect this freedom, consolidate this democracy that we have, because there's a place and a space for all of us in the African National Congress. The African National Congress has not decided to support Palestine because we want votes. Let me say it very clearly. I came into this movement as a youngster, and by then already our forebears knew that we must be always on the side of righteousness, of justice, for freedom-loving people. And so when Mandela and Arafat had the partnership, it's in our DNA, it's in our make. We will always be the champion of the poor, we will always be the champion of our people, and so this is a continuation of our commitment, and that dedication we want to pass on to your generation. And so we are here not to just get votes. Yes, we want the Zionists out in the Western Cape, Minister. We want a city and a Western Cape that do care for all of us, all Cape Townians. Not start this divide in the room and the swat gevaar and all of those things, but we want a genuine progressive people. That's why we're calling on young people to give the African National Congress a chance. Come, you are part of this family, and with this family, you can claim agency and be part of the space. So, Minister, I think that's our briefing. I don't know, let me say also, there's a lot of volunteer heads in our regions. Comrade Lolo, Sheikh Sali, I just want to acknowledge our veterans here, and also especially our young people that has taken time to be part of the campaign, and also the office of our veteran, the side also, Minister, you know, familiar faces. So Minister, I'm going to hand over to you, and if you want to say a few words, and then maybe we could have an office.
Thank you very much, Comrade. Thank you, Comrade Pat. And I don't want to delay you for very long because we're supposed to be out there in the field, but it's really good to be back here. I was in the first branch here in Athlone called Athlone Central, which Comrade Dalla Omar launched in 1991. So, you know, it's wonderful always to be in Athlone. I used to live just down the road in Rondebosch East, and I'm still here in Rondebosch, so gone up a bit, gentrified, still around, and it's always, you know, great to be back in the Western Cape. Western Cape is home to me. When I came home from exile, I settled here, and my children were born here, so I always say, when people, where do you come from? I say Western Cape, but I was born in Durban. Western Cape is my home. I'm so glad Comrade Faiz has helped to just set the tone of the history with respect to Palestine, because there's a great deal of confusion. Israel is not a Christian state, and there's a misunderstanding because we know Israelites in the Bible and we're transferring that. Jewish people are Jewish people. They read the Torah, it's one of the great books. We read the Quran, one of the great books. Christians have the Bible. Israelis are not Christian. It's very important. And in Palestine, it's not only Muslim people. Muslims, Christians, Jews all live together. The Palestinian people never moved as a people from the land of Palestine. Jewish people moved into Europe and became very successful as business people in Europe. And a huge jealousy developed among Europeans against Jewish people. That's how you came to have the Holocaust, when they were targets of Nazis. Then at the end of the Second World War, they were looking for some way to place Jewish people, to take them out of Europe. Because there was a lot of anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish sentiment. So they said, there's their traditional home. Let's take them to the land of Palestinians. And they took them there. Made no engagement with Palestinian people, no arrangement about protection of land, and you then have a big problem, because what happened is a population of people who always lived in an area were displaced. Their land was taken without compensation, and another community and country were built, and they had no state. They became stateless because in 1948 a war ensued, and they moved as refugees. Many people don't know, over 2 million Palestinian people live in Syria as refugees. Over 1.5 million in Jordan as refugees. Hundreds of thousands in Egypt. They are spread all over. Now the fear among the Israeli state is that if Palestinians become free and you have returned, they will become a majority in their own land. That's why they've got to annihilate them, massacre them, and genocide. This is what we're seeing. And we as South Africans can never accept something like that. South Africa has based its foreign policy on the values of human rights and justice for all. We believe all people deserve justice. This is why we've always said we don't support the elimination of Jewish people. We believe there should be a two-state solution with the people of Israel living in secure peace alongside the people of Palestine, each having their own territory. This is our policy position. But when it comes to oppression, we stand for the just cause of the people of Palestine, because they are the ones who are oppressed. And we must always understand that as South Africans. I said in Parliament last week that as South Africans, we fought for freedom. The whole world supported us in our fight for freedom. As a people, because of that support, because of the nature of our struggle, we owe it to those who are oppressed to always be with them. You can't, when others helped you, say, yeah, now I'm okay. So sorry, you're in trouble. Sorry, you helped me, I know you helped me, but solve your problem. You cannot. We were helped, we were supported, we saw the just cause of our struggle, so we must also see their just cause, and we must stand with them. I told the Democratic Alliance MPs who were speaking out in Parliament, can't enjoy the post-apartheid freedom and not support the cause of the people of Palestine. Because that freedom, we got it through struggle. We got it under oppression. Took ourselves through a fight from being oppressed. And our duty to the world and other human beings is to help them when they face the same issue. So this is what's standing before us as South Africa. What do we choose? Do we choose to be on the side of might? Or do we choose to be on the side of right? That is the question that we have to answer. And I believe our country is correct in its posture that where there is oppression, we will stand with the oppressed. This is the mandate that our struggle gave us as South Africans. And I think we need to embrace it and stand with people who need help. Because there's nothing greater than to help others to achieve the free air we all breathe, to enjoy the rights we all love so much. Otherwise, we're saying it's okay for you to be in prison. It's okay for you to be denied citizenship. It's all right for you to have to hold a pass. It's all right that you can't live in a certain area. It's all right that you can't have a proper job. We can never, as South Africans, accept that. So I believe what we must do is always assert that as South Africans, we pride ourselves on the character of our freedom, which is a freedom that will always uphold the justice and freedom of others. If we do that, if we embrace it, we're going to be the kind of country our leaders dreamt of. We're very fortunate that when our leaders began a political movement, the first of which was this one, the ANC, they called all people together, whites, colored, Indian, African. And they said, we want to form an organization that will bring South Africans together. We want traditional leaders here. We want religious leaders to be in the meeting. We want business people, academics. Brought them all together because they understood that what you must achieve for a great nation is what our slogan in South Africa is, unity in diversity. And we are a country that is trying to do one of the most wonderful things in the world. Out of deep pain, which was experienced by the older people who are in this room, we are trying to build a great nation where we're all one. And you as young people, your duty is to continue to help that nation to grow. We haven't got there totally as yet. That's why we have the United Colored People's Congress or something. I just saw something like that today. We have that because we haven't yet fully absorbed that we are trying to form a united, diverse nation where all of us feel we are represented. It will take time to get there, but in my belief, the best vehicle is the African National Congress, because they have the broadest understanding of what South Africa is and who makes up South Africa. So I hope that as young people who are hopefully are over 18, one, you will register, two, you will vote next year. And just think of it this way, this is how I put it. In 1956, 20,000 women marched on the Union buildings in Pretoria because the apartheid state had decided that women will have to carry that pass that black people had to carry, and it was men who carried it. The pass said who you are, where you came from, and what areas you are restricted to. And they wanted to introduce it to women. And women in South Africa organized themselves and said, we're going to tell the apartheid state that we'll never carry a pass. And they marched to Pretoria. 20,000 women from all over South Africa. The apartheid state doesn't know how they got to Pretoria, but 20,000 got there. So we must be like them and be resolute in our own intention to create a new society. So what I do when I meet young people who say, I'm not going to register, I don't like what's happening, so I'm not going to vote. I say to them, well, that lady who walked in front of those 20,000 women was Lillian Ngoyi. She devoted her whole life to the struggle. So when I go and vote, I pretend I'm Lillian Ngoyi, and I'm voting for her on her behalf, because she never enjoyed the fruits of what she fought for. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. So I say to myself, I'm going to vote 27 times if I live that long, inshallah, on behalf of Nelson Mandela. So always, when you have that thought, put yourself in the shoes of Oliver Tambo, who spent over 30 years in exile building the international solidarity support for our country's struggle. And he died before election. Say, I'm voting for Oliver Tambo. If you do that, you won't feel terrible. You won't feel angry. You will feel gracious. So go and register for Oliver Tambo. Go and vote for Oliver Tambo and make South Africa a different place. Yeah, you know, it's true that our freedom hasn't got us everything that we desire. This is absolutely true. But one of the things we must do as young people is always be analytical. Study history. How do societies form? Why in Europe did they have 100 years of war among themselves before they became discrete nations? So always think, don't make South Africa some unique entity that is different from every other part of the world. The process of change and transition takes time. I would complain if after 50 years I didn't see enough progress. That's how long apartheid lasted. So I think we must give our country a chance to make the kind of progress that we want. And we must also ask ourselves, what kind of role am I playing to make it happen? You know, if I'm supposed to be in school, am I in school? If I'm supposed to be reading, am I reading? If I'm not supposed to take drugs, am I avoiding drugs? If I shouldn't be in a gang, am I in a gang? Are we helping to build that new society? And I think if we could take on a role where each one of us seeks to make a change, we'll see our country beginning to become what we desire. But I can share with you, I have now been to dozens of countries in my job as Minister of International Relations, and I will not lie, I would rather be a South African than any other. And I've been to the wealthiest countries in the world. Our country is great. We've got a wonderful people, we have a wonderful country. Not just the acne that I've been missing for some time, but many, many things. The people, the languages. Cape Town, we're just incredible. And I think if we could take on a different mindset about who and what we are, we're going to make this country great. And it is you, the young people, who are going to benefit. As we admitted when we first achieved freedom, what we did and our fathers and mothers did was achieve political freedom for us. So we have civil and political rights. We have our ID, we are citizen recognized in our country, we have our social rights, socioeconomic rights of education and so on. But what we haven't yet achieved is the economic freedom. And that's your job, not us. We did ours. We've given you political freedom. So don't ask for economic from us. That's your job to do. You become accountants. You become financial advisors. You become statisticians. You become economists. You become entrepreneurs. Then economic justice will come. We had to be in the bush. We had to fight for your freedom. We've done our job. So don't not do yours and put it on our shoulders. You've got freedom now. So you can make a difference. No one can stop you. Nobody can stop you. But we keep turning things against ourselves. You know, 1 year, 3 years ago, I was the PCO MP for Mitchell's Plain Parliamentary Office. So I had a grand idea, Comrade Faiz. parents were always complaining about unemployment of their children. And I thought, I'm Minister of Education. You know, I was Minister of Higher Education and Training. So I'm Minister of Training, surely I can do something. So I called a big meeting of all the parents in Mitchell's Plain. I said, bring your children. And I called institutions of higher learning, colleges, TVET, everything, CETAs, just like this, packed. And I said to the parents, I want to change the lives of your children. I'm glad you've brought young people in. I gave a long talk, and eventually I said to them, I'm asking you to give me 1,000 young people. And they did. We registered 1,000. Well, to my amazement, we got them all into training, either in a sector education and training authority, CETA, or a TVET college. I got my number, 1,000. Out of the 1,000, you know how many graduated? 675. The others, we don't know what happened. They just disappeared, just dropped out. This is a problem we've got to solve in our country. I was told today by one of the comrades that actually a lot of that 675 are doing very well. So I feel I did my little bit, but I'm disappointed that I didn't get the 1,000. And I still don't have the answer as to why. With everything, we've got bursaries, placement, skill, they just dropped out. So these are things we have to change as well. And as young people, we must commit to improve ourselves and make a difference in our country. But for today, all we want, go and get your ID. If you haven't got one, go and get a temporary ID. Home Affairs offices are open. Tomorrow, go and register. And if you do that, every dua I make will be for you, because I'll be very happy. So we're asking, please, help us to make a difference to our country. That's all. Our job is to change our country, and we're asking you to join us in that enterprise. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade Naledi, our Minister. I know we're slightly delayed. Our colleagues are waiting for us. I just got a message. But I just wanted to check. We did ask young people to come. And maybe if there's one or two representatives, or maybe just one of each of the groups, maybe that can come forward and maybe just say a few words, and also we can, with Minister, register them, because that was our promise that we made to the young people. So we need to do another promises that we made. Chief, so maybe from your side, Chief Salim, who's one of your, you got your ID with you? You're going to do the
to the ICC yesterday.
Yes.
Then we should investigate Israel for crimes against humanity. Because we believe that what they've done is actually genocide. So we've submitted our letter of referral as a state party to the ICC, and we also had a legal definition attached of the crimes that we believe they're guilty of committing.
Yes, I have a few speeches.
Now, just today, they've announced that they received our referral. And we're joined by 5 other countries that we're anticipating more. So it's there on the table. That's South Africa.
I'm very happy that some our South Africans are actually standing for the Palestinians. I mean, it's very sad what's going on. I'm a audiologist. I graduated in 2020. You should come for a hearing test. Oh, Athlone.
One of the office bearers, she will carry the message over to
Okay.
He's one of my sponsors for my soup kitchen.
So Minister, in our area we have a lot of start up with your parliaments.
I know Mr. Lafayette very well.
Very well, yes, like you know. From the first time, the spirit of it. This is one of your
ANC.
Ooh, you got blood on
1986, I was there. I was beaten by the Boere. I was there, Mama. I was there. The struggle is real. Still real. You must come out here.
Ibulawa ni haya latafilinkulu nonke njengoba liphanje abona babulali be-ANC nini nani botata njalo ngohlobo loba iyaphuma imali ikhutshwa nini kuthiwe mayize ebantwini izokusebenza imali xa ifika imali apha isebenza into zabo zoceba aniyilandeli nibulala ngolo hlobo nina izembe lenu lilapha okokubana ngabe ibiphuma imali e-ANC haya iphume ize apha ebantwini njengoba ibudget seyigqithile ilandelelwe yayilandelelwe kwasekuqaleni zange ilandelelwe ilandelelwe kujonga uba le mali yenze intoni aniyenzi nalo yaqonda ngokokuqala koko okwesibini koko nina phayana nibakhulu ningako kuloo tafile niyakhankasa ngoku nithembisa abantu ngeento ezingako enizawuzenza abantu balindele emveni kokhankaso lwenu ningake nenze nto tu ezebantwini ningathi akhange nikhankase okwesibini okwesithathu koko abantwana baphuma benxibe ijasi bethwele iminqwazi koomayunivesithi babuye bazohlala nathi abanamisebenzi nina nani bathembisile phofu bazawujoyina njani ke ngoku lo mbutho babaleka into ezininji abanye gogo bathe babhubha belinde izindlu kusithiwa nazi izindlu bade basweleka abanye gogo oontanga bam basweleka babhubha bengakhange babe nazindlu i-ANC ithembisa oko ithembisa nina icebo aninalo uba ngaba yayindini yandifundile ndandizawuthina nakususwa esi sixeko esi le ndawo isuswa ifuduswa ingamatyotyombe kwakhiwa uveza kufakwa unamba 17 unamba 17
Can I switch the light up?
Okay, comrades, thank you very much
for the support, and we must continue because we've got to get young people registered. This is the most important thing. We must change the government in the Western Cape, but you've got to work hard to do that. So please don't lose your energy, keep up the fight, and remember the people of Palestine every day. Remember, you are free. They supported you to achieve your freedom, so you must remember that they must get their freedom too. Don't believe freedom belongs only to you. Freedom belongs to the people of Palestine as well. So stand for Palestine, stand for your rights, stand for our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.